All right. Thank you for watching. This is Star Wars The Old Republic with Soto Desperado. I'm trying to level a new character, but apparently I keep getting all these little mini missions all over the place. So I'm going to keep working on that. And hopefully get all this done soon. Nope, don't want that. Gotta turn this in. Probably in here. Last time I went through all of the Anton Williams channel. Get the antidote from the sand people. Oh, that's timed. Okay. Oh, that's way over here. Shit. No wonder it restarted. So I got to get way back out there. Ooh, I didn't know that was timed. Shit. Well, we'll do it again.
Displaying all authorized destinations.
Okay, so we're wanting to do this out here. I think
Travel route is confirmed.
we'll have to go this way. Yeah, we'll have to go this way. There is a road going that way, so we'll have to go down that road. Shit. Oh man, that's pretty far in. It looks like it's down this passage between these huge rocks. I think that's where I'm supposed to go. Anyway, did find a video. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here before I go further. This is Piers Morgan Uncensored. Brianna Wu on what really mattered to trans people. Here we go.
It's always some gay person that's talking on our behalf. So I'm really excited today to talk about how everyone here is wrong. David, I love your show. I consider you a friend.
I can't be wrong.
You and the Democrats are completely wrong about what trans people need. We don't need you advocating for, trans vaginoplasties in prison. We need to retreat back to the basics of what we need, which is HRT and healthcare. And the problem is the Democrats have been captured by this fringe left that has redefined what trans means to all this non-binary nonsense and all this stuff that has nothing to do with how we got our rights in the first place. Ben, you can appreciate this. I was the first trans person to ever transition at Ole Miss, our alma mater. That was very, very different. That was 20 years ago, toddy. And the thing is, the way I got equality, got people to respect me in Mississippi, was not by screaming at them or lecturing them about my pronouns. It was getting them to see my humanity. This is something trans people have just completely lost. And the problem is the Democratic Party is unwilling to call out these bad actors. And because of this, we are having a conversation that does not serve trans people. Piers, I am begging you on this show, stop inviting these stupidest leftists on to make the argument for trans civil rights. Let some people actually understand this stuff. And Dave is laughing because you understand integration as a gay man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've done the same playbook your whole career.
Well,
this works. This is
first
how you
off,
got
I'm only
marriage.
gay. I'm only gay starting at 10 p.m. What time is it? We'll have to check on that. But actually, you're completely right, Brianna. You're completely right.
I don't know if this is the right way. It might be. That's not the right way. I have to go past this banta. Let's see if we can, because I'm on a timer, I got to get this done quickly. What is this? Defeat sand people? No, I'm not trying to do
Teufel atroz. I might have to go above. Shit. See, even the trans people are like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? A lot of what these people say is all agenda and it doesn't make any goddamn sense. To anybody, even their own fucking people. It just doesn't follow. You know what I mean? Afragiban. A lady was like trans and shit, and then she's like, she still doesn't understand what the fuck's going on with these people. You know, even the people that the left claim to be for are being dissed by their own. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, that's a different mission right there. think I can go out this way. Maybe. Oh, I didn't know I had to destroy war totems and shit. I would have been doing that earlier. I just saw this. I saw this box over here, and I thought, well, shit, it'd be nice to see what's in there. Anyway.
Gaza is no more. Gaza has been pulverized. It's
Norman Finkelstein versus Fleur Hassan.
been obliterated, and that was the Israeli goal.
What happens to these people?
Well, Gazan civilians today have an opportunity after Hamas
No, that's not my
that has
question.
subjugated them
No, you can't.
to rebuild their
Fine,
society.
that wasn't my question.
If I need psychoanalysis, I wouldn't go to a representative of a lunatic state.
You have to understand where Norman Finkelstein is in his head, okay? First of all, he doesn't believe in the existence of the State of Israel. So it's very difficult arguing somebody that doesn't believe he should exist at all. We left in
Fleur.
Your imagination,
Excuse me.
you left.
Keep your
It's your
distance,
imagination. The Nazis needed the cover of a war in order to carry out the final solution.
Everything this man talks
Okay,
about
you made your point.
is a blood
You made your point.
libel.
I want to ask.
And he's
okay.
having his 5 minutes in the sun
Okay.
because today it's trendy
All right.
to hate Israel and hate Jews.
No.
What's the short answer?
My
He
answer
doesn't have short answers.
that's correct.
Israel's war on Hezbollah is over for now. The ceasefire ends almost 14 months of fighting and 2 months of a direct and deadly assault by Israel inside Lebanon. President Biden and the US administration pushed to get the deal done before Thanksgiving, and no doubt this is the first good news from the Middle East in a long time. At 170 miles to the south, there's very little to feel grateful about. Israel's war on Hamas continues unabated, and the IDF's conduct is facing intensifying scrutiny. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and sacked Defence Minister Yoav Gallant face ICC arrest warrants for war crimes. Reports by the New York Times and others accuse the IDF of habitually using captured Gazans as human shields. President Trump has assembled a stridently pro-Israel cabinet with little patience for his critics. Many supporters of the Palestinian cause fear that life beyond the war holds precious little cause for optimism and that the very concept of a two-state solution may now be dead. To debate this, I'm joined in the studio by two of the strongest voices on this conflict, both with very opposite positions. Fleur Hassan is the Israel Special Envoy for Trade and Innovation, as well as the former Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem. Norman Finkelstein is a political scientist and pro-Palestine activist, author of the new book, Gaza's Gravediggers, an inquiry into corruption in high places. Well, welcome to both of you. I've never met either of you. I've interviewed you both several times, but it's great to meet you both in person. And I appreciate you prepared to do this. A lot of people in this war period have not wanted to debate with people, especially on the other side. So I appreciate that. Norman, you've got a new book out, and I'll come to that in more detail as we go on. But just talking about where we are right now, we've got this ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. There is no ceasefire yet with Hamas. But where do you think this war now is?
Well, with all due respect, I have to disagree with your characterization of where it began and where it now is. In my opinion, speaking on the basis of what Israeli leaders themselves said after October 7th, this isn't a war against Hamas. This is a war against Gaza. In fact, it's not a war at all. It's a genocide. And in the course of that genocide, we could say as of now, the best estimates are there are about 42 million tons of rubble in Gaza. It would take about 10 to 15 years to clear out the rubble. And even if the rubble were cleared out, there are no prospects for rebuilding Gaza because Israel will claim that any cement that enters Gaza will be used to build tunnels. And so they'll bar cement as they did after Operation Cast Lead in 2008-9. So where we are now, I would say Gaza is no more. Gaza has been pulverized, it's been obliterated, and that was the Israeli goal from October 7th. As you recall for sure, the statements that immediately came out after October 7th spoke about Amalek, spoke about there not being any civilians in Gaza. The intention was to once and for all liquidate, solve the Gaza question. And in my opinion, they have succeeded in that regard. And the prospects for the people of Gaza, my guess is, and it's pure speculation here, by hook or by crook, they're going to find a way to leave because there is nothing that remains. The estimate is about 60 to 70% of Gaza's infrastructure has been destroyed. The hospitals were targeted, the universities were targeted, obviously homes were targeted. So there is nothing left. And that was the intention. The Gaza Hamas aspect was pretty much a sideshow. So, for example, if you look at the statistics from the Israeli government, less than one Israeli soldier has been killed each day in Gaza.
But
that's not a war.
When you say it's a sideshow, I'm going to come to Fleur for a proper response to that. Say a sideshow, you imply that Israel were going to do this anyway, but they hadn't done this. And everything that they have done, they would say, was a direct response to what was a monstrous act of terrorism. I mean, 1,200 people were killed. Nearly 7,000 people were wounded. It's one of the worst attacks in modern times. You know, and as you know, we've debated this many times, but I have always supported Israel's right to defend itself. In fact, I've always believed they had a duty to, given the scale of what happened with 3,000 people coming over a border and just murdering anyone to get their hands on. It's, to me, always been a case of what is a proportionate response, what is acceptable. I personally feel it has gone way too far. And for the reasons that you state, and I'll come to you, Fleur, is that there's nothing left there now. I don't know what people expect to happen. Fleur, let me bring you in. Let me pick up on that point first, and you can get into the rest of what Norman said. But Gaza's just been flattened. I mean, it is, I know people who've been there who just say it is an utter devastation. What happens after this war? I mean, assuming that it ends sooner rather than later, we've seen Israel now end the war with Hezbollah, certainly for the next 60 days. But what happens? Gaza's done, isn't it? I mean, what happens to these people?
Well, no, I actually think they have an incredible opportunity because in 2005, when Israel left Gaza, in order to give the Palestinian leadership a chance to create maybe the pilot of a Palestinian state in beautiful Mediterranean coastline. They could have turned it into Dubai or Singapore, but instead, when Hamas got in a brutal coup in 2006, what happened is they turned Gaza essentially into a military base. They filled it out with tunnels, 800 kilometers of tunnels. They built under hospitals, they built those tunnels, they built booby traps. They didn't build tunnels under hospitals, they built hospitals on top of tunnels. There's like 30 hospitals in Gaza. In the whole of Israel, there's
But
like 12.
that's 20 years ago, all right?
Well, no, they've spent 20 years turning the whole of Gaza into one booby trap for this Armageddon moment.
But that's not an answer to my question.
The answer is what happens now?
Wait, what happens to 1.9 million people who've been sent to refugee camps that have now been attacked as well? What happens to these people? A lot of their homes are just gone.
To be clear, the refugee camps, there are safe spaces where Hamas also infiltrate, and they put their own people. They use them as human shields, as we know, as has been reported, and they put their people in homes.
Where is their safe?
What happens now?
Okay, Flo,
if you ask me where the light is...
Yeah, on that one point you just said, though, where are they supposed to go to be safe? Right now, where do Gazans go?
Mr. Finkelstein said that we're engaged in a genocide. If we were, why are we asking people to get out of the way?
Let me ask you again. Where can they go?
Why are we giving warning? Why are we damaging our own element of surprise? Why are we doing that?
My question was, where should the Gazan civilians go to be safe?
The Gazan civilians today have an opportunity after Hamas
No, that's not my question.
That has subjugated them to rebuild their society.
That wasn't my question. My question is, where can they currently go to be safe?
To the safe spaces that Israel has assigned, where Israel is not attacking.
Where?
Well, it depends where. At one point, they moved them from Rafah. They said it couldn't be done. You can't move 1 million people. We did, with absolutely almost zero casualties. And so it can be done. You can move a population out of the way. Hamas is actively putting them in the way. That is what nobody talks about.
But the other argument,
war crime of Hamas.
Yes, but the other argument is that Israel is indiscriminately attacking everywhere and then saying, you know what, Hamas are there. And because no journalists are allowed in to verify this, because the IDF won't let them, there is no independent way of verifying whether any of that is true.
If we were indiscriminately attacking, why are we asking people to get out of the way? Why are we creating safe zones? All of what he's saying,
will bring you in,
you have to understand where normal Finkelstein is in his head, okay? First of all, he doesn't believe in the existence of the State of Israel. So it's very difficult arguing somebody that doesn't believe he should exist at all. Secondly, as a Jew, he's got what as a Jew, let me finish my point and then you can interrupt.
Talk about my head.
As a Jew.
Talk about your head.
As a Jew, Norman Finkelstein has got what I describe as the abused wife syndrome. The abused wife that stays with her abusive husband has to justify her staying in 3 ways. One is saying, it's not all that bad, which is what he says about anti-Semitism. The second is saying, well, they didn't mean it. Anti-Semitism, they didn't really mean to target Jews. And the third way, which is he's actively engaging, is to saying, it's our fault. It's my fault. The wife that says, I provoked him.
All right, I'll come to Norman to respond to that.
I provoked him.
Before I come,
and this is the abuser's abusive
you've made your point and he will respond.
That he is in.
Okay.
The Israeli Jew is the liberated Jew that has left the abusive husband.
Fine. Before I go to Norman to respond to that, which I'm sure he'll want to, the point that you were going to answer, and I made you answer a different one because you raised it, but what happens at the end of this war?
You want to know what I think should happen?
No, what is going to happen?
Well, I believe...
What's the plan? What have Israel got as plans?
Well, I believe that with Trump coming into power in the United States and with a Saudi deal on the table, which has been on the table, and this is one of the reasons that they started the massacre on October 7th to begin with. They understood where the Iranians understood where this was all going. They deployed Hamas and they said, this is the moment now. So I believe that there's a real opportunity for the Gazans, for the good Gazans who want a decent life for themselves and not living a life of terrorism. To rebuild.
How?
Under the maybe civil administration of their own local leaders.
Where do they go and live when all their homes have been destroyed?
With their own local leaders, with Saudis, with Emiratis who know how to build quickly, who have the resources to build quickly. If we really have a consortium of countries like the Abraham Accord countries that can get together and rebuild, there is an opportunity.
Still under Israel control?
I don't think Israel should be controlling them.
So Israel would back off completely?
We have to retain security control so we don't have another
so you
massacre.
would have control. Okay.
But not administrative
All right.
control.
Well, you just said you have control.
But eventually we don't have to have any
You know what?
control.
Eventually it'd be really nice, actually, if Israel had no
why
control.
did we leave?
Palestine.
Yes, why did we leave in 2005?
Okay, let me bring
Why
Norman.
did we leave in
I'll come back to you,
2005?
Fleur. I'll come back to you. Norman, your chance to respond.
Okay. Number one, totally trivial point. If I need psychoanalysis, I wouldn't go to a representative of a lunatic state. I would go to a rational person. Number two, Israel never left Gaza. That's not my opinion. In 2005, Israel relocated its troops from inside Gaza to the periphery of Gaza. What goes into Gaza? What goes out of Gaza? Who goes into Gaza? Who goes out of Gaza? The airspace, the water, everything was controlled by Israel. The guardian of the Fourth Geneva Convention is the International Committee of the Red Cross. The opinion of the Red Cross from 2006 to the present is that Israel remains the occupying power in Gaza. That's the opinion of the United Nations. It's the opinion of all human rights
I
organizations.
don't disagree with you about any of that, but let me ask you this, Norman.
So
Straight question.
Now let me,
straight question.
Factually
Hang
wrong.
on, let me.
Okay.
Hang on.
Factually wrong.
I actually don't disagree with your assessment, right? I do think Israel has exercised a control over the people of Gaza ever since they said they ceded control to a government. But let me ask you one question before you finish your answer, which is this. Hamas. There can be no doubt that Hamas was given billions of dollars, a lot of it encouraged by Netanyahu, given billions of dollars, which they did, in fact, squander, which they did squander to the detriment of their people, which they did by building all these tunnels, right? And which they did in the end when they invaded Israel on October the 7th. They knew absolutely what would happen, and therefore, in that moment, they sentenced to death tens of thousands of their own people. Would you quibble with that?
And don't forget,
argument?
their leaders are billionaires.
Okay.
Their leaders are billionaires.
I will actually, with all due respect, because I respect the facts, I'll quibble with everything you said. Number one, the money that went into Gaza, mostly from European countries and other international organizations, they monitored where the money went very carefully. They weren't about to endow Hamas. There's no evidence.
How did Hamas build all the tunnels?
I'll tell you.
Well, how did they afford to?
They don't have one penny of accountability.
I'll come to you.
Not one penny
I'll come
of
to you to
accountability.
respond.
Allow me.
I will challenge both of you, but don't shout over each other.
Not one penny of accountability. Living in an alternate universe.
European governments and many of the international economic organizations, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, UNCTAD, UN Conference for Trade and Development, they all put out on probably a quarterly basis very precise reports on Gaza. None, and I've read all the reports over 10 or 20 years now, 17 years. None of the reports have claimed that the catastrophe, the economic catastrophe in Gaza, has been caused by Hamas. None. Now, if you claim that you have more expertise in the subject than the IMF and the World Bank and UNCTAD, well, you can believe that. I personally don't believe that. The claim of all of these international respected organizations is the main source, the root cause of the catastrophe in Gaza prior to October 7th. The root cause has been the medieval blockade that Israel imposed on it, and which Human Rights Watch, just in November 2024, a month ago, Human Rights Watch described as, quote, a crime against humanity.
Okay, but how did
the problem.
Norman,
the problem is
how did Hamas afford to build all these tunnels?
You know, Piers, I never quarrel with facts. I'll give you an honest answer.
How did they afford it?
He's going to tell you there's no tunnels in a minute, Piers.
Well, I think the amount of tunnels has been vastly exaggerated, but I'll admit I can't prove that.
Right.
I've talked to civil engineers in Gaza about the possibility Israel claims 450 miles of tunnels. I find that totally incredible.
But there are billions of dollars worth of tunnels. You accept that?
I don't know. I'm not a civil engineer.
He wants Hamas to remain in power. That's
what I
you're
do
talking
know,
to here.
I'm perfectly willing to discuss. What I don't know, I'm not a civil engineer. I can't answer. What I can say is the following. let's get back to the question of what's happened in Gaza. You said Israel is in a war with Hamas.
Yes.
So has the other guest in this room.
Yeah.
My name is Fleur.
What is your name?
Fleur.
Fleur. So has Fleur. Let me ask you a simple question, okay? If you're at war with Gaza, why are you shooting children in the skull and in the chest? The New York Times published an article on that, came under a lot of flack because they published that article. They said we can't refute the evidence. We have the x-rays in front of us. They're shooting children in the head, in the skull, and in the chest. If you're engaged in the war in Gaza, why are you killing journalists? Why are you killing medics? Why are you killing UN workers? If you're engaged in the war with Hamas, why is it that Human Rights Watch just this past week put out a report? They tell people where to flee. They say go to the safe zones. Human Rights Watch says when the people are directed, they're being shot at the road.
But are you seriously saying no? But hang on.
When they get to the safe areas,
I understand.
Israel
I've already made that point.
Israel drops 2,000-pound bombs.
I've made that very point.
Does that sound like a war,
no,
or does that sound like a genocide? What does it sound like?
It's interesting. Okay, let's get into that because it's an interesting part of the debate. It's horrendous that UN workers, journalists, children, women have all been killed. It's horrendous.
Targeted.
Well, okay, they quibble with the word targeted. They say it's collateral damage as they've gone after terrorists.
When you shoot a child
here's my question, Norman.
When you shoot
Norman,
a
here's my
child in the
question.
skull, that's
Norman,
not collateral damage.
Norman, can you tell me any war where innocent people have not been killed in large numbers?
I'm not talking about innocent people. This is not.
No, he's talking about Hamas terrorists.
This is not collateral damage. This is not even indiscriminate killing. This is very discriminate killing. It's indiscriminate bombing of the entire infrastructure.
If they wanted genocide, though, why don't they just kill everyone in Gaza?
There's a very simple answer.
Well, maybe you let me answer.
I'm going to come to that.
There's a very simple answer to that question, Piers, because I know you're not allowed to say it, but since I know the topic very well, take the case of the Nazis. The Nazis needed the cover of a war in order to carry out the final solution. Now, Hitler had plans earlier on, but it required a certain amount of cover, propaganda, and all sorts of other devices in order to carry it out. Gaza is in the news. It's very hard.
Do you believe Israel had a right to defend itself after October the 7th?
Actually, if you want to hear my full answer, I'm not giving you a yes or no.
What's the short answer?
My answer.
He doesn't have short answers.
That's correct. I don't have short answers. I've said it to you before. In my opinion, Israel. Here it's not my opinion. I'll quote Giora Eiland, Israel, the former head of Israel's National Security Council. Israel created, I'm quoting him now, in 2004, he said Gaza is, quote, a huge concentration camp. Israel created a huge concentration camp in Gaza. Israel imposed a medieval blockade on Gaza, which has been characterized as a crime against humanity. Israel periodically went into Gaza on its high-tech killing sprees, what it called operations. I would say Israel created, I think I'm quoting now, the British economist called Gaza a toxic dump. Israel created a situation where you have children.
Yep.
I understand. How old are your children?
From 31 down to 12. 13.
Okay, fine. Imagine if your child, you're a father, your child was born into what Giora Eiland called a concentration camp. Your child was left to languish in that concentration camp.
It sounds like you're working up a justification for October the 7th.
He's completely justifying October 7th. And maybe if you let somebody get a word in, I could explain where he's coming from.
Okay, allow me to finish.
I do need to bring Fleur in there.
I need your psychoanalysis.
This is not, yes, you do. You need a psychologist.
She does need to respond.
I love lunatics.
If there was, this is one-on-one interview.
Well, she probably thinks you're a lunatic too, to be fair.
Fine. And by October 7th, as you recall, Gaza had disappeared from the international stage.
Yeah.
All the talk was about the Abraham Accords, whether Saudi Arabia. So your child was destined to be born into languishing and die in a concentration camp. Israel created those conditions.
So was it justified?
So my view is Israel forfeited its right of self-defense based on its criminal abuse of the population of Gaza for 20 years.
Okay, but so just to extrapolate that, it was just...
I'm very clear. There's no need for extrapolation. Israel forfeited its right to self-defense.
I was about to ask, does that mean then that what happened was justified?
I will stick by my formulation. Israel forfeited its right to self-defense by having...
But were Hamas justified by your logic?
Was Hamas justified? If your children were in that situation, I suspect as a final resort, they might very well have done what happened.
So then, by his logic, there's 100 children in tunnels and dungeons in Gaza right now, taken, innocent people, not soldiers, taken hostage. If it was your child, then it justifies everything by his very logic.
Shooting children
by
in the
his
skull.
very logic,
because
somebody takes away your children
let her
in
respond
the morning. We've heard enough.
Let her
We've
respond.
heard enough
I gave you a long time.
First of all, let's just come back from Gotham.
Well, hang on. Your response to what? Because Norman's gone as far as I've heard him do, in effectively saying it was a justified attack, and Israel has no right to
self-defense. So of course he's going to say that because he doesn't believe Israel has a right to exist. He doesn't believe Israel has a right to exist. Could you let me answer my question? He doesn't believe that Israel has the right to exist.
Has he ever said that?
Has
he ever said that?
My question is this.
Well, you just said he said that.
Yes,
if Israel doesn't have the right to self-defense,
show me where I said
then
that.
it doesn't have the right to exist.
Fleur.
If
He's never
Israel
said that.
doesn't have
Morgan just
the
asked you a
right to
question.
self-defense, it doesn't have a right to exist.
But you said-
He believes the whole of the country is a settlement.
Right.
He doesn't
Where did I
believe
say
anywhere.
that?
You've said it, you've implied
Okay,
it,
where
and we've
did I
had
say
enough.
that?
If you let me answer the question
Fleur,
now.
yes, I agree.
Let
I'm
me
letting
answer
you
the
answer
question.
the question.
You're not.
Where did I say Israel had no right to exist? Show me.
Can I answer
I've written
the question?
10 books.
I think
to
you should
the
answer
subject.
him because you have said it as a fact.
If you believe that Israel doesn't have the right of self-defense, you are basically saying that Israel doesn't have the right to exist.
No, I never.
Yes, you do.
There's no connection.
So then we can
between the two.
exist, but we can't defend ourselves after people attack us.
can't
And let's just go back in history.
You can't defend yourself against concentration camp
If he
inmates.
keeps interrupting me,
Well, what about... Okay.
he just had a 10-minute monologue.
No, I agree.
He just
Norman,
had a
let her
10-minute
respond.
monologue. Give me a 5-minute monologue, okay?
Okay.
Since the beginning of the establishment of the State of Israel, which he believes that we were the terrible people, displacing people. Okay, we were also displaced. Jews were also displaced from Arab lands. And that's just what happened post-war, post-colonization of the world. So let's look. In 1947, there was a two-state solution proposed. The Jews said yes. The Arabs said no. It's not that they wanted a state. It's that they didn't want the Jews to have a state. So we declared a state in 1948. What happens? All the countries around us come to attack, to create a genocide. It was a miracle that Israel wasn't eliminated in that moment. Move forward. 1967, those territories which were attacked, well, there was no Palestine, there was no Palestinians. It was Jordan and Egypt and Syria and Lebanon that attacked Israel. If they would never have attacked Israel in 1967, that land would have remained Arab land. Okay, fast forward 1973, another war that we didn't start. Now, do we not have the right to defend ourselves from destruction?
67.
We didn't start 1967. We didn't start 1973. We didn't start. Then we go and we say, we crumble onto hope. We hold on to hope. We say, let's do the Oslo Accords. We offered Arafat, and Clinton will say this himself.
He has said
everything they said they wanted. 97% of the West Bank, half of Jerusalem, the lot. And they said no, and they started a bloody intifada in the streets of my city that killed many, many innocent civilians, Jewish and Arab alike. Then we thought, let's try something else. In 2005, let's do unilateral withdrawal. That's what Sharon did. He said, maybe if we actually just leave, they'll have an opportunity. There was never a blockade. The blockade started when Hamas went into power, and they were bringing in, contrabanding missiles in which to attack Israel. That's when a country has to say, we need to defend ourselves. Now, if there's a blockade, don't they have a border with Egypt? Why don't you say a word about Egypt? There's no blockade when it's 3 walls. Where's the 4th wall? It's Egypt. What happened to Egypt? Didn't they have tunnels going in and out of Egypt? In fact, it was Egypt that had a much harsher border than Israel. We had 20,000 people coming into work.
Let me ask you a question.
So what concentration camp has... Tell me something. What concentration camp has a country club? What concentration camp has a country club?
No, I have a different question.
Giora Island.
Concentration. Yes, Giora Island thinks we should keep northern Gaza. That's what he thinks.
And Giora
so
Island
now you're quoting him?
Why did Giora Island call it a huge concentration camp? Why? 2004.
I don't speak for him.
Hey, you could just Google
2004.
it. Yes.
We left in 2005.
Right. He called Gaza in 2004 a huge concentration camp.
Let me ask you, Fleur.
We left in 2004.
Fleur, let me ask you.
Never left.
We left in 2005.
In your imagination,
Excuse me.
you left.
Keep your
in your
distance,
imagination,
please.
you
so
left.
You understand
according to the International Committee of the Red Cross, you didn't leave.
Yes, we know how neutral they are.
According to Human Rights Watch, you didn't leave.
We know how neutral they are.
According to Amnesty International,
we know how neutral.
Everybody's an anti-Semite.
No, but a lot of people. No.
Let me ask you a question.
I want you to just answer something.
Let me
just
get a time out. No, I want to ask you a question, which is this. There can be no doubt that even if Israel says we unilaterally pulled out in 2005 and withdrew troops and so on to the border or whatever, there's no doubt that Israel continues to exercise a form of occupying control. And we saw that very clearly after October the 7th, when Israel was, at the flick of a switch, able to turn off the supplies of water, of electricity.
Why didn't they develop their own water?
No, but here's my question for you, Fleur.
Why didn't they use their money to develop their own electricity?
Here's my question for you.
Why?
Here's my question for you. Given that Israel had that power, you can dispute the word occupation, but they had a control over the people of Gaza, the Palestinians, which I don't think they should have had. What gives Israel the right to exercise that kind of power over the people of Gaza?
It wasn't over the people of Gaza. It
was
a terrorist entity that has in its foundational charter the destruction of the whole of Israel.
And you gave them control.
No, we didn't give them control. We gave the Palestinian Authority control.
Are you saying all Gazans are Hamas?
No, we gave the Palestinian Authority control. And then the year later, they had elections pushed by the American government at the time. And then Hamas won that election and then took over in a brutal coup, which, by the way, do you know how many of the PA they killed? This is their own civil war going on.
Listen, I think Hamas,
that's also Israel's fault.
I think Hamas are
Everything is Israel's fault.
Fleur?
You are basically practicing the bigotry of low expectation for the Gazans and the Palestinians.
All right, let me
He's saying that the Palestinian leadership has no responsibility. Zero responsibility.
Hamas is a brutal terrorist organization.
Yes, it is.
So that explains why Israel prohibited chocolate from entering Gaza. That's why Israel prohibited baby chicks.
But I don't agree with any of this.
Gaza.
I agree with you.
He's twisting the reality.
Actually, that is the reality.
It's not.
Israel was doing that.
Israel produced such
they were restricting building materials that they knew they were using.
It wasn't all they were restricting. Let me ask you, listen, I want to bring things forward.
We finally agree on more than we disagree.
Listen, you'd be surprised. Honestly, I have a lot of sympathy for the plight of the Palestinians, and I have sympathy for Israel to what happened on October 7th.
I have a lot of sympathy for the Palestinians because they've always had terrible leadership.
Fine. You know what I think? Palestinians should be entitled to the exact same human rights as you
They should be entitled to their own self-determination.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't they do that? Why didn't they take one of the pieces?
I agree with.
Why did they not self-determine?
I agree.
Do you know why?
I agree.
Do you know why, Piers? Because they've never taken responsibility.
Yes, but
the whole world has taken all responsibility away from the leadership.
My view is a bigger view, which is that right behind all this is Iran.
Absolutely.
That Iran's tentacles have been fueling Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, and that is the core problem in the region.
In Norman Finkelstein's world, Islamism is not a problem. Political Islam is not a problem.
Let Norman respond now.
In his world, that's not a problem.
It's a very simple answer. There are called 4 or 5 final status questions bearing on resolving the conflict.
Yeah.
Jerusalem, settlements, borders, refugees. Those are the main issues. Under international law, the settlements are illegal. Each and every one. I noticed yesterday when I was watching your latest program, you referred to the building of new settlements as being appalling. No, under international law, confirmed in the July decision of the International Court of Justice, all the settlements are illegal. Under the plans that Ehud Barak offered in the year 2000, and then later under Ehud Olmert, Israel wanted to keep 80% of the settlements in place. It wanted to keep all the settlement blocks in place. The question of borders, Israel's position has been, excuse me, it will not return to the June 1967 border. That's in breach of international law. Okay. Israel says it will not leave East Jerusalem. East Jerusalem is occupied Palestinian territory. It belongs to the Palestinian people. Very simple, very simple. I hope everybody will listen.
Who are we occupying Jerusalem from? It was Jordanian before 67.
I'm not interested.
No,
in
you're talking about law.
Yes,
He's wrong
exactly.
in law.
That's
But you cannot dispute law on that. Hang on, Fleur, hang on.
48 to 67. There's never been Palestinian.
Okay.
Do you dispute? Okay, on one point,
I dispute
Fleur,
everything.
we can argue about the
Yes.
Hang on, we can argue about the history of the settlements. Okay, what I don't think anyone can argue, Israeli or Palestinian, since the start of this war on October the 7th, 8th, is that the aggressive expansion of settlements on the West Bank by Israelis since the start of this war, in my estimation, has not just been outrageous. I think it actually constitutes an indisputable war crime. What are they doing?
Do you know? Have you ever read Oslo?
I'm very aware of it.
So let me
I've
tell
actually
you.
interviewed.
So let me tell you what Oslo.
Why are you assuming
was,
things?
I'm
I ask a question.
I'm asking you a question because when you talk about it, you don't understand what was actually.
I've
involved.
literally, sorry.
I think he understands.
I've literally specifically asked you about
I'm going to answer.
the aggressive expansion of settlements since October the 7th. It is indefensible, it is illegal, and in my estimation, it is a war crime. Now, we know that's happening because we can see it. We can see it.
Occupation.
What we can't see in Gaza is anything because the journalists aren't allowed in.
There's no... Yes, and if the journalists were allowed in and they got killed, you'd say Israel's killing journalists. So you can't win, can you?
What do you think of the aggressive expansion of settlements on the West Bank since the war started?
I reject the premise of that, and I'll tell you why.
But you think it's fine?
Let me ask you a question.
Do you support the expansion? I've had Jewish guests who have condemned
there's
it.
no occupation.
There's no occupation.
She said there's no occupation.
Do you think these expansions are fine?
I want to answer the question.
Are they justified?
I want to answer the
Well,
question.
yes or no?
Oslo.
Give me a yes or no.
Split.
I'm not interested in Oslo.
Oslo split. No, because the whole premise of
I'm
your
asking you a simple question, Fleur.
You,
Has the expansion of settlements in the West Bank since the start of this war been justified, yes or no?
94%
Yes or no?
of Palestinians
Yes or no?
are living under their own autonomy
Yes or no, Fleur?
in Judea
Yes or
and
no?
Samaria.
Is it justified?
What do you mean?
Is it justified?
Of course, what justified? We are building communities. There are communities
You're
in Judea and
forcing
Samaria.
people out of their homes
Nobody's been forced out of their
illegally.
homes. Have you ever looked at Area C?
International law says you're breaking the law.
There's no homes. There's desert. It's the Judean desert where there's settlements.
It's very interesting because, okay, let me come back to Norman.
What are you
Let me
talking
come back to
about? Do you
Norman.
think people are
wanted
getting
to say-
kicked out of
You know what,
Okay.
Norman? Here's my thing for you, which you're going to probably like me saying this, because I've had guests from the Israeli side, and when I've had that very point, that question, they have actually very quickly said, I think it's wrong. Right? And I respect that completely. I've got to say, Fleur, your total refusal to accept anything in terms of the settlements since October 7th of the West Bank is wrong.
Ask you a question.
I just find it outrageous.
Why was there terrorism before 1967?
I'm not going back to
If
67.
No, I am.
I'm talking about
because
the last year.
Because you're talking about territory that
These
was
settlements expansions in the
legitimately.
last 15
You're
months have
talking
been
about
totally wrong.
territory that was legitimately conquered after a war we didn't start in 67.
All right.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that when somebody aggressively starts a war, they should never pay a price for that?
No, but I think you should be honest about what the
They
price...
should never pay a
you
price?
Should be, you should be... Oh, no, of course they should.
Should they? So what's the price they should
No,
pay?
that's the
For
question
having
I've been
attacked?
asking for the last year.
Jordan attacked
That's the question
Israel.
I've been asking
The
for the last
territory
year.
was Jordanian. And let me
All right.
tell you something.
All right.
After the war, they said, keep them.
Fine, I'm going to Norman for a response. Here's the thing, Norman. We agree about more than you may realise, and I do with you as well in certain areas, and disagree in others, right? So I don't come at this from an ideological, I'm with one side or the other. But I do find anyone who attempts to defend the expansion of settlements in the way that we've seen, I just think they're so far one-sided, they can't see the wood for the trees out there. My big issue with Gaza is not that your characterisation is necessarily wrong. It's that we, as Western media, don't know because we're not allowed in there. And my big problem with the IDF, and I'll get a response from you, Fleur, on this, is the IDF's refusal to let independent Western journalists in to verify what they're doing and to report fairly and freely, I think is very telling and increasingly damning.
Okay, Piers, I listened to you yesterday's program, when you had Katie Halper on and Alan Dershowitz and John Kornakis and Matt Kennard.
Yeah.
And that point you made yesterday, which you're reiterating today, I'd like to address it very directly.
Yeah.
You say the problem is that Israel is, or a problem is that Israel isn't admitting journalists.
Yeah.
And you correctly said it's fair for a fair-minded person to infer from that fact.
Yes, so they're hiding something.
They're excellent. Yeah. They're hiding something.
No question.
But that's only half the picture. The other half of the picture, which I hope your listeners will pay attention to, the other half of the picture is this. Since Israel imposed the blockade on Gaza, it's been a basket case, an economic basket case. And all these international organizations have had to come in. Save the Children, World Food Program, CARE, UNESCO, UNICEF.
Yeah.
They all have field operations there. They all know the lay of the land. They're all still there since October 7th. Now, when South Africa submitted its application to the International Court of Justice alleging that Israel was in breach of the Genocide Convention, who did it cite? It cited all of these organizations. It would be better if we had journalists there, but really at this point, journalistic coverage would be superfluous. We have all the respect.
Well, it's never superfluous.
Okay, I will say superfluous meaning we have all of these international respected organizations, many of them headed by Americans.
Wow.
Like Agency for International Development.
I get
when
your
they
point.
charge, when they all charge that Israel is using starvation.
We're running low on time.
I just want to respond to that a second.
That Israel is using starvation as a
Norman,
weapon.
we have about 8 minutes left.
I just want to answer that.
Fleur.
The Special Advisor for Prevention
Quickly,
of Genocide yesterday for the UN
Yep.
was sacked. Why? Because she said that what's happening in Gaza did not meet the definition of genocide.
Yeah.
This is the Special Advisor for Prevention of Genocide.
Yeah.
What he is talking about is a blood libel that Jews have suffered for thousands of years. And what's happening today, that the little blood libel that used to be, oh, Jews are killing Christian children for making the bread, and all of that today, as the collective country, the Jewish country, now today we face the same blood libels, but in big.
Okay.
That's exactly what's
Listen,
happening.
we have a few minutes.
Genocide is a blood libel. Apartheid is a blood libel.
Okay.
Everything this man talks about
you made your point.
is a blood
You made your point.
libel.
I want to ask.
And he's having his 5 minutes in the sun because today it's trendy to hate Israel and hate Jews.
Okay.
But it'll be over because we've
Fleur,
survived worse than this.
I think to interrupt you. I want to ask Norman just about Donald Trump. He's the new president of the United States. He's packed his cabinet with very pro-Israeli people. That's no great secret. He makes no secret of being very pro-Israeli. What does that mean, do you think, for this war? I mean, on one level, it may bring an end to the war faster, which would be a good thing for everybody. But what does it mean going forward? I mean, my big argument with Israel, I've seen no coherent plan for life after the war. And I've been very cynical about Netanyahu, that he's facing corruption charges the moment this is over. He's also, there's a big report out today from Israel, holding his government to account for the failures of allowing October the 7th to happen on their watch. There'll be accountability for that. There's no great incentive for him to end this, but Trump may want him to end it quickly, I suspect. But what happens then? I mean, let's just be big picture here. What is going to happen, do you think?
Well, I hate to be a bearer of bad news, and I've been criticized on that score by people who normally I would count as my allies. But as I said, I think Gaza is no more.
Just gone. What will happen to the people?
I think by hook or by crook, they're going to have to figure out a way to leave.
Or they'll go into neighboring Arab countries.
Oh, they won't accept them, don't worry.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Accepting.
But as you know, Piers, in the modern world, right now there are 2.5 million Syrians in Turkey. There are about 1.5 million Syrians in Lebanon. There are large population movements. I don't want to go into that area, first of all, because it's speculative, And second of all, it seems to me it's a distraction from what we should be focusing on now. And what we should be focusing on now is what happened, who is accountable for it, because that's one part of historical justice.
Before I go to Fleur for a response, just very quickly, because we are literally into the last 5 minutes now, should Hamas have any form of power in any government after this war?
Piers, I've answered that question to you before, but I'll answer it again. I will be succinct. If Hamas, by killing 1,200 people on October 7th, disqualified itself from participating in any future in the resolution of the conflict, then Israel, by a factor of maybe 20 times more, has disqualified itself. And we have to add, it's not just the state of Israel, it's the entire population of Israel, which gets more and more enthusiastic and relishes more and more each time a massacre unfolds in Gaza.
But we also saw hang on that. We also saw scenes of widespread jubilation when the hostages were dragged through the streets in Gaza from a lot of Palestinians. The idea that it's just Hamas members who have a view of an anti-Jewish sentiment. We saw it with our own eyes.
He is assigning a cult of death to the wrong side. He is assigning a cult of death to Israel. Israel is a cult of life.
Let me ask you a question.
Israel
Fleur.
is.
Let me ask you, Fleur.
I have 4 children.
Let me ask you.
I have 4 children, and they come home singing songs. One day we'll have peace. And you know what they teach them in the Palestinian? Let me finish. The very rude. He's not let me answer
they also
any
sing
question.
Death to the Arabs.
That's not true.
Even when
you
they go
do
to
not live in Israel.
Countries,
You have not been to Israel.
Amsterdam,
and I don't know how long.
They sing death to the Arabs.
He's wrong.
Even in Amsterdam, they sing death to the Arabs. In fact, even in Amsterdam, they sang, you know why there are no more schools
the abused
in Gaza?
wife, he's justifying
because there are
the
no
pogrom.
more children in
The
Gaza.
abused wife is justifying
That's what they were
a pogrom.
chanting in Amsterdam.
He's justifying the pogrom, the
cult
abused
of
wife.
life.
Abused wife syndrome. Justifying the pogrom.
Israel has a cult of life for Jews.
That's not true. And the 20% of Arabs who live, and 20% of Arab citizens that live in peace in Israel, that prosper in Israel, that are in every single strata of society in Israel. You know who the best educated people in Israel are? Christian Arab women. And that's Israel. We celebrate diversity. Everybody gets opportunities, including our Muslim, our Druze, and our Christian population. He is living in a world that doesn't exist and is assigning everything that is wrong with Hamas to... Now, let me just finish with something. This is Israel Khania, who we killed, thankfully, a billionaire, the guy who obviously followed the accounting of Hamas, yes. The blood of women, children, and elderly, we're the ones that need this blood. So it awakens within us the revolutionary spirit. This is the guy who stole billions from his own people and lived like a king in Doha. Now, I think what both of you get wrong is that this is not a territorial conflict. This is an ideological conflict because Hamas don't want a two-state solution. And unfortunately, the PA have rejected every two-state solution proposed
so what happens at the end of this war?
1947.
So what happens at the end of the war?
There is no territorial solution because this is not a territorial
So what will
conflict.
happen?
I pray that the Abraham Accords and that the wider peace in the region will bring the Palestinians to the point that they understand that the only way forward is to negotiate with Israel. Not to go this way or that way, and not to kill Israelis, but to negotiate with Israel. Israel is a country that I'm so proud of my country. 1948, nobody gave us anything. We've been fighting wars incessantly. We've built a technological superpower. We are curing cancer. We are curing climate issues.
You know what we need to cure for?
Well, we have more Nobel Prizes per capita than anybody else, including Arab Israelis.
You know what we need a cure for?
Prosper in
you know what we need a cure for?
Killing Arab children.
We need a cure. No, we need a cure for a 75-year conflict.
We do.
And you know what? I'm reminded again of a conflict in Northern Ireland between implacable enemies who killed each other for many decades, and they eventually got leaders who were able to barrel through all that and reach peace. That's what we need.
I was deputy mayor of Jerusalem for 6 years. All I did was build bridges between the 40% Muslim population and the Jewish population.
I've got to leave it there.
And they have prospered
Fleur, I have to leave it there. Fleur and Norm, thank you. Listen, I appreciate you coming together. I know it's passionate views on both sides, but I do appreciate you agreeing to do this debate. I always learn things when smart people debate these things, all right?
Okay,
So
just one last word, if you don't mind.
very quickly.
Okay. I was supposed to debate Benny Morris at Oxford. He said he won't debate me. I was then supposed to debate Ehud Olmert at Oxford this week. That's why I
Yeah.
came. He said he wouldn't debate me. So I appreciate the fact that Fleur came.
Yeah.
I don't think she fared very well.
Well, that's
All right.
true, but let me
You know
tell
what?
you.
No, I'm done.
He, is,
No,
he will
that's
refuse.
it.
He refuses to debate
right.
Mossab Youssef Hassan.
You know what?
He
Let's just-
refused to
let's-
debate him tomorrow.
You know what?
You know.
You agreed
Piers,
to
why
debate
don't
him.
you-
He agreed
why
to
don't
debate
invite
you. And the
Piers,
debate
Piers, can
is
I ask you to
now
invite Mossab
completed.
to debate him on your show?
The beauty of my show
Can
is
Mossab
we get
debate-
people on and they do debate.
Piers,
I've got to leave it there,
invite
Fleur.
Mossab to debate him on your
All right.
show. He will refuse.
We will decide who we get
I
on our
don't
show.
debate
But I'm leaving it there, Norman.
Yeah, there you
Norman,
go.
Damn,
I'm going to
she's-
leave it.
she's
Norman,
savage,
if you want
man.
another
Now
plug
he's
for your
going to
book,
be a psychopath.
we've got to leave it there. I want to leave with a mention.
Debate Mossab. Debate Mossab.
Guys,
I don't debate
continue it out the
There's
back.
an exception for you.
Mossab.
All right.
Thank you.
Norman Finkelstein, the author of Gaza's Gravediggers and Inquiry into Corruption in High Places. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to finally meet you. Fleur Hassan, great to see you in person. I enjoyed the debate very much. Thank you.
Oh, I forgot a mission. I don't know where it is, though. I don't see it anywhere. Huh. Oh, it is right there. There is another one. Oh, shit. I gotta go all the way back. Gotta go all the way back to go turn it in, motherfucker. Anyway, these people have decades of blood on their hands from each other. They are not compromising. They are not coming to a place of understanding. They're not listening to each other. They don't really care or believe in each other. Putting them in the room to do
Travel
that.
route is confirmed.
I think this is where I want.
Travel route is confirmed.
Placing them in a room so they can debate is very educational, but it's not going to be really useful. Both of those people, both of them, those peoples don't deserve the land that they're on. That land has got so much blood in that sand, so much fucking evil. Ironically, I'm on Tatooine, right? We're all the sand planet. But they got so much blood on their hands, and they are so stubborn and aggressive to each other. In reality, the only safe option for everybody observing this is to stay out of the way and let them kill each other. And whoever survives, survives. Ethnic cleansing, you know what I mean? Not because I like ethnic cleansing, I really don't like that idea, but I've learned that some of these people are just not going to be listening to anything you have to say. They're not.
Travel route is confirmed.
I gotta go back over there, turn this mission in. It's hard to see. It's even when I magnify it, it's hard to see. But there is one last mission I forgot to turn in, and then I can go out. Got to go to Alderaan next.
You did leave quite a mess, but I'll be glad to get working again.
I'm on. This is the hard part. I got to find out where I got to turn in the mission. Here it is. I wish it was a little bit more.
What are you
obvious.
saying? We lost the squad of... I'm sorry.
What trans...
We've...
Oh,
In that
Jesus.
case,
Your eyes...
Another fucking mission. Son of a bitch. I'm never going to get done with this planet, guys. I'm going to be here forever. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
At your service, my lord. Travel route is confirmed.
I'm never gonna finish Tatooine. Oh my god! I'm not even doing any of the heroic missions. You know, that's where you get good gear and shit for free. You know, I'm not even getting that, dude. Oh man. Oh god. All right, let's go. Yeah, if I had my way, I'd just take the land away from them and, you know, vacate the area or just let them kill each other if they want to do that, I guess. They can, I guess. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. That's dangerous.
In Teufel atraus. Aru Jamunja.
Oh, is this it or not? I guess this is not it. Must be somewhere else. There it is.
Are you part of Captain Tremont's team?
What? Who are you? Did the captain send you? Everyone else is dead. I don't know.
I'm here to say...
Oh, man. About an hour and 7 minutes. That was an interesting Piers Morgan, man. Gotta admit. I think it's up here. Next to the road. There's the road. Okay. Plant explosives, ammo stockpiles, and defeat exchange. I think these are those things.
Afrakiban. Aki us erpai wasja us.
That was just so intense, man. That lady was not backing down. She is adamant that Israel is a legitimate state and all this shit. And it's like, they don't owe you acknowledgement. You know, if you go into somebody else's backyard and then all of a sudden you say, I'm a state, or we are a group of people, or we're an ethnic group of people, and this is our place. I mean, of course they're going to fight you. Of course they're going to say you're trying to legitimately steal their land. Why wouldn't they? They've been there just as long as you have. That's what I don't understand sometimes is these people, they actually think that like what we have here is free. I mean, it's all blood. It's all blood in the sand. I hate to say it, but it's true. You know, it's just blood in the fucking sand. And as much as that sucks, it's the reality of the situation.
Baru Jamunja. Dagam Jainam Paim Dagam.
Okay. Still need a few more. Is it giving me another phase? No, it is. Son of a bitch. Destroy exchange weapons crates. Really? just walk back the way I came.
Atlaus.
Defeat exchange droids and elite guards.
Teufel Atlaus.
See, it gives you all these missions separately, so it takes you forever to do them. Those are regular guards. These may count, I'm not sure. I guess they didn't count as droids. I guess just the big ones are droids. There's a regular guard. Yeah. There's one droid back here. There's a quartermaster. He may count.
Afragiban.
It does count. Quartermaster's an elite guard. There was a droid over here I should be able to get. Right there.
Atraus.
I think I need like one more. Yeah.
Afragiban.
Oh no, I need one more still. Shit. I just want to finish the planet. The military keeps giving me more and more missions. Oh, here's one. This guy.
Afragiban.
There we go. Is it over? Jesus. Oh, Jesus. What the fuck? So am I going into any of these buildings? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Looks like I'm supposed to go into one of these buildings.
Afragiban. Dagam Jainam Paim Dagam. Teufel Atlaus.
Somewhere up there, I think. Oh, this is probably where this guy got hurt or captured. All right, we're doing pretty good. Sorry, I stopped getting. I just got tired of listening.
Is it?
Usually, when I do these games, I play music in the background, and I just go with the music. You know.
Get back to Moss.
All right, so it looks like that's it. Okay.
Travel route is confirmed.
Hopefully this is the last goddamn mission on this planet. I swear to God. Tatooine has been sand in my shoes, man. I'm telling you. For real. Just gotta, let it be done, please. Let it be done.
The exchange ammo dump is destroyed.
Yes, including you have.
Oh, thank God it's over.
Finally. Oh, finally. Return to Sergeant. What's his face?
Travel route is confirmed.
It's not done yet. No, it's not there. I gotta walk around here, see if I can find the person I owe the mission to. Is it this guy? Is it one of these guys? Jesus. Nope. So annoying.
Do you require medical attention? Be well.
Afragiban.
Oh, my XP ran out. I didn't know. You get these
Please use all products only as intended.
you get these XP bonuses, and you want to
Be well.
you want to use them to try to get ahead a little bit, because especially if you're not subscription, you definitely want to do that. Return to Sergeant Chromium.
Displaying all authorized destinations.
Okay, I'm gonna assume it's down here then.
Confirmed.
I think it's the guy that gave me the very first mission that kicked off all these little ones at the very beginning where the spaceport is. That's what it was. The guy's over there. So I should be able to get there in one go and then maybe take a break. Oh, jeez. I've been a bitch. And this is without any heroic missions. Because a heroic mission, you could take a shuttle directly there. As long as you don't die or something, you're fine.
Listen to so much shit. Oh, I went past him. Damn, I keep getting a lot of credits. I never used to get this many credits.
My lord.
Never. Especially without a subscription. I don't know what happened.
I doubt the Jedi. If we've seen. Take every. We think this. You overestimate. I.
All right, there we go. All right, that's the end of that. Now let's go to the ship. And then we're going to start Alderaan, and Jesus, who knows what they did to Alderaan. They probably added a bunch of other stuff. I mean, it's good that they add stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, next time I may decide to buy a level 70 token to make a level 70 character and just go from there. Fuck it. You know. But not right now. I don't have any funds for this shit right now. Okay, we got to get that other companion.
Benwayep Akfilas Mais Warsmis.
So you beat Wilkes doesn't surprise me?
Andronicus better than a.
Wasn't Manus anyway. With some real leadership, maybe the...
Good luck with that.
Thanks. And Andronicus?
It's alright, huh? We wouldn't have worked out anyway.
Yeah, right.
Murder and mayhem.
See, Val's a 15, so he's going to be a lot better than the other guy. But the problem is, it's hard to please Val, Kim Val. It's really hard to make him happy. I was going to get one of the other pre-made companions, but they're also kind of like too nice. I got used to Val.
Welcome back, Master. I've just completed a new meal plan for your color.
Apprentice, you have recovered the artifact, I take it. And...
Hello yourself.
Yes, thank you for now.
Consider it done.
Look...
That's the same one. Huh? I already have that lightsaber.
So what's the story? You always...
I didn't choose. What? It doesn't matter. Was it so? How much of that story is true? Is there...
You know, you gotta...
You didn't seem to...
But it's good.
So why didn't I? I'd be glad to have
you just... Hey, you got time to chat?
Sure.
No, haven't.
I like two things.
I'll just make it.
Jeez.
You hear that, Sid? Like her...
What do you call it?
Man, we don't got...
If I see a good thing...
No, I think
I didn't know you...
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Was this one of your...
Well, car maybe, but... You might be...
What were you doing at... Don't let...
So
wow.
What is a Sith?
Oh,
Need something? I do have this. There's...
Jeez. Okay, dude. Damn. Let's see what I can get Kim to... I think Kim's over here. There he is.
Pistana for ute pat.
What have you discovered? We must get to Tatooine.
Fuck. We just came... We're still at Tatooine, for Christ's sake. No, son of a bitch. Fucking Tatooine. Again. You have to get the Tatooine. We just came from Tatooine. Shit. Whenever you have a companion, you get these potential side quests and things that's just for them. And that's what we're talking about here. Jeez. I'll never finish. Oh my God. It'll never be over. Oh my God. Tatooine. No, why Tatooine? And then they put the piloting thing all the way over there on the other side of the universe, you know. The speeder network is all the way over there, somewhere else. This guy's trying to... Kim Val is trying to find out what happened to Tulak Horde. And Tulak Horde died a long time ago. You know, nobody gives a shit. I mean, that's an ancient Sith Lord of supreme assholedom, but that's about it. But, you know, I guess if you're a young Sith Lord, you'd be curious. Yeah, we're at 1 hour and 43 minutes, man. This is one of the longest ones I've had so far. But I just figured I'd complete it with you guys, or at least try to. I was so sure.
Destinations. Travel route is confirmed.
Hopefully, this is a real quick quest, and I'll just end it as soon as we're done. That way, it's not a big deal, you know. Okay.
Looking to upgrade your arsenal? Good hunting. I've got the best hardware and the best prices. Good hunting.
I needed that. All right. No, that's that other thing. This is where it told me to go, but I don't see any indicators. Oh, what the hell?
Travel route is confirmed.
Okay. It's sending me way out there. Well, Tulak Horde, I think he had a tomb on this planet, if I recall. And that's probably what we're going to go take a look at, is Tulak Horde's tomb. Most likely. I'm going to give listening to shit a break. People talking out their ass. Talking about social issues, and all these fucking people, man, they make everything so fucking personal, and they just can't be general. They can't keep it so that everybody's okay with it. They have to put their 2 cents in, and basically it's like they want to charge the shit out of you or something. You know, they're so opinionated over social issues that are private business. You know, I'm serious. I mean, a lot of the shit is exclusively private business, and they have no business sticking their nose in your business. Oh, you fuckers.
Teufel Atraus.
Thought I could slip through there, but I guess not.
So wilok bardos, so gi inagangan gisat faur ises. Japay swepa perswit ingala banay gapwas dai.
Watch what you say, beast, or I'll bind you as well.
Japate anahandam puk ufaban. Ihaven ni gasta jais. Swayway silbans in iswish, paman ik alkas jam, guidis intis isvares. Ababarna habens, glaubena, ni in usakwai, usiterens apipao.
I know a way to shut this guy up.
Tupamay arbaida, ustaw jans biwurstan. Bodais, akran, bayradans, jawan jandans, in pan guidis.
Alright.
Maru jamunja.
It's on, bitch.
Iswarim ja algamboze uspalib.
Did you really think he stood a chance against me?
In abalhap fralat forte fuima alaisos kaskaftais. Jawais from Bama daga I house the dedam ni vleladam. Anso wilok bardos so gi inagangan gisat faur ises.
All right. So I guess it was an old enemy or some shit. Old girlfriend or whatever. What's that going to do to me? Piss me off? Make me kill you slower? Just settlers with stun sticks. I mean, really. Really. Anyway. Well, so much for that great mystery. I don't remember all the stuff because I hadn't done a full character background. You know, where you grow the character from scratch in a long time. You know, it's just been a long time. All right, so now that we're done with this shit, we can go back to the planet and get off Tatooine and do something else with our lives. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. It's been way too long. I'm glad I'm getting Google Fiber because it'll be easier to upload after that. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Jeez.